The Maldives is engineered to feel like an escape from reality. For wealthy tourists, these isolated atolls offer absolute privacy and pristine turquoise water. But at 1:15 a.m. on a Friday in March, the reality of that water violently reasserted itself. A late-night excursion through the reef-heavy Vavu Atoll ended in a catastrophic capsize. Among the survivors pulled from the ocean was billionaire industrialist Gautam Singhania, the chairman of the Raymond Group. Two men, however, were lost to the sea. One of them was Singh, a five-time Indian national rally champion renowned for his mastery of high-speed, high-risk environments. The vessel used for the excursion was a custom cigarette racing boat, a high-performance machine engineered for extreme velocity on the open ocean. A lifetime of professional racing experience and access to infinite resources cannot override the physics of the ocean. When the environment turns hostile, the margin for error drops to zero. Earlier that evening, the group had been relaxing aboard the TT Ashina, a $15 million, 43-meter luxury yacht. Vessels of that scale offer immense physical protection. Stepping off that mothership onto a small speedboat strips away those defenses. Maritime disasters rarely stem from a single mistake. They are the result of a cascading failure. One manageable risk overlaps with another, compounding the danger until the situation becomes a deadly trap. In this specific crash, that trap snapped shut with devastating force. Two men died, their bodies later recovered deep within the coral reefs, and another passenger survived only after an emergency arm amputation. Surviving a marine environment relies entirely on strict adherence to the unforgiving laws of maritime physics. Luxury branding offers no buoyancy. When a high-speed boat makes a sharp maneuver, the hull can cross and hit its own turbulent wake. The wake acts as a solid ramp. The boat launches into the air, and the abrupt landing generates enough blunt force to physically eject passengers. Now apply those physics to the Vavu Atoll at 1:15 in the morning. Operating a boat in pitch darkness across shallow, reef-rich lagoons strips the driver of nearly all visual navigation cues. Combining extreme speed with sensory deprivation transforms a recreational craft into an uncontrollable projectile moving blindly through the water. The mechanical physics of the crash were compounded by a critical human error. Reports indicate the passengers were not wearing life jackets. There is a persistent myth that keeping life jackets stowed under a seat is sufficient. During an active, high-speed ejection, it is physically impossible to locate, unpack, and secure a vest while being thrown through the air. This timeline comparison chart maps the survival window for a passenger in open water. Notice the steep drop-off on the bottom line. If an ejected passenger suffers blunt force trauma and loses consciousness upon impact, drowning occurs in a matter of seconds. A life jacket cannot be treated as a post-crash emergency tool. It is a mandatory pre-boarding physical tether that keeps you above the surface when you can no longer swim. Local authorities also pointed to severe lapses in operational protocol. Under Maldivian maritime law, foreign tourists are not permitted to pilot specialized recreation vessels on their own. When a crash occurs, rescuers rely on the golden window, the brief period where survival is most likely. Because the speedboat lacked active, immediate communication systems linked to its mothership, that window closed before the search even began. Without an exact GPS marker or an immediate distress call, the Maldivian National Defense Force was forced to conduct a massive 48-hour search spanning 3,450 square nautical miles just to locate the wreckage and the victims. Mechanical failures cause boats to flip. Ignoring basic communication protocols severs the only line back to shore, turning a survivable accident into a fatal one. In the immediate aftermath of the Vavu Atoll tragedy, the Maldives Ministry of Tourism intervened, issuing strict new safety standards for all aquatic operators, guest houses, and resorts. This visual breakdown details their newly mandated color-coded flag system. Operators must now hoist specific flags, white, yellow, orange, red, or green, to instantly communicate shifting weather conditions and dictate exactly what water activities are permitted. Enforced systemic regulation is the only effective way to pierce the illusion of invulnerability that luxury resorts often project. For anyone booking a marine excursion, safety begins on the dock. Your first step is verification. Ensure the operator formally logs your name and identification number before you step onto the boat. Next, demand proof of communication. The crew must have active direct radio or satellite lines connecting your small excursion vessel back to the mothership or the mainland aquatic center. Finally, the absolute mandate. You must secure your life jacket before the engine starts. Your swimming ability and the calmness of the lagoon are irrelevant once a boat is traveling at highway speeds. The ocean doesn't care if you're a billionaire industrialist or a decorated sports legend. Respecting the water means recognizing that safety protocols aren't there to restrict your vacation. They are the guaranteed price of survival.